Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Grossman. The applied science teacher at Yale School. I just want to take a few moments to introduce myself, introduce the course, talk a little bit about the grading procedures, and the expectations, and also show you a little bit around the Google Classroom, which I created for the applied science classes. As I mentioned, my name is Dr. Grossman. I'm a retired teacher from the public schools. I taught science for over 25 and a half years in the public schools, and this September I came to Yale, so I'm brand new. This is my first year at Yale, but interestingly, a funny fact is I actually went to elementary school at Yale back a long time ago, except it was part of the Cherryl school system. It wasn't called Yale School back then, but it's kind of ironic that, where I started my academic career in kindergarten is where I finished my career where I ended up again. So that's just a little side note story, which I thought was kind of funny, ironic. Anyhow, as I mentioned, I'm Dr. Grossman, and the first thing I wanted to do is talk a little bit about the different subjects, what we've covered and we will be covering with the students this year. The beginning of the year, we talked about the scientific method, and also we spent some time learning a little bit about the metric system. The reason being is because most of the measurements we use in science use the metric system, things like milliliters, kilograms, grams, etc. So we did some work with that. Currently, we just finished talking about, as you guys may be aware of, cell theory and cell physiology. One of the projects the students did was to create a cell city using the parts of the city to represent the parts of the cell. For example, in the city, the mayor's office might be the nucleus of the cell, which runs the cell. The mayor's office may run the city, etc. So that's one of the things that they had currently worked on. So that would be cell theory and cell physiology. Right now, currently, we just talked about DNA, the structure of DNA, the function of DNA. And that has led us into the beginning talking about genetics. We just started talking a little bit about genetics today. So we were just beginning to learn how to do Punnett squares. Punnett squares allow you to predict different genetic traits. A genetic trait might be like eye color, hair color, etc. And if you want to make a prediction as to what traits an offspring would have, we just started talking about and using Punnett squares. So let me backtrack for a second. The applied science would be basically 3 different types of science. This year they'll be learning biology, life science is what we're beginning with and working with. We'll also talk a little bit about earth science and environmental science. So the applied science would be a combination of a number of different sciences, primarily life science, environmental science, and earth science. So after genetics, we'll finish the life science and biology portion with human body systems, circulatory system, excretory system, digestive system, etc. So that would be the life science biology portion of the course. After that, we're going to talk a little bit about the environmental part of the course. We'll talk a little bit about the Earth's environmental systems, non-renewable energy sources like fossil fuels, gasoline, etc. And then also renewable energy, which would be things like obviously solar power, wind power. So that would be the second portion of the course, the environmental part, which is kind of, current in today's topic. There's a lot of discussion on, global warming and protecting the planet for future generations. So all that would be covered under the environmental portion. And then we'll finish up the year talking about Earth systems, Earth science, the solar system, and the Earth systems such as plate tectonics, earthquakes, and volcanoes. So those would be the different topics we'll be covering throughout the year. What I'd like to do now is present my screen and share with you so I can show you a little bit of the Google Classroom that we use mostly at the current time. And so I'll disappear for a moment, but you'll be able to see my screen. All right, so here is an example of the Google Classroom. It's the Applied Science 2. There's 2 courses of Applied. I teach Applied Schedule 2 and Schedule 4. So it looks exactly the same for the Applied Science 4. It's just to, differentiate between the 2 different sections. But it will look exactly like that. Here's the home screen page. It has the stream. The stream is where my teaching assistants and also one-on-ones can post information for the students. And it also contains, if you click down the arrow, it contains my contact information. So as you can see, my email is mgrossman@yaleschoolnj.com. It also gives you my voicemail, my Google voicemail that connects directly to my phone, 856-462-1943. So my contact information is found in two places. One of the places is found is on the stream or the home page for the Google Classroom. And then if you click on classwork, you'll see under classroom information, you'll see that says Dr. Grossman's contact information. You click on that again, and it will highlight my school email and also my Google Voice number, which connects directly to my phone. When we return to normal hours at school, my normal office hours would be 2:20 to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday by appointment. Right now, since our schedule is a little different, students are leaving a little bit earlier. Generally, I'm available after 1:30 because the students leave a little bit after 1. But I just wanted to show you around the Google Classroom just a little bit. As you can see, the assignments are listed by the day. Monday's assignment, 10/19, Tuesday, Wednesday. So the assignments can be found for that particular week listed by the day and the date. For the previous week's work, in case students need to catch up, that can be found under the week of. So the week of 10/12 to 10/16 would contain the different various works we did with the students from the prior week. And each week, receding backwards should be listed with the work for that particular week. So if a student's missing something, they should be able to go back and find the work under the week that they were missing it. And you see it goes all the way back to September. So the Google Classroom is organized by that week's assignments, as you can see currently. And also after this week passes, this work will be placed in another folder that would be created for the past week's work. As you can see here, week of, this was the prior week's work. And here again is the prior week's 2 weeks ago. So this is what the Google Classroom looks like a little bit, just to give you a quick, a tour of it. And again, there's the stream page, which, information is given to the students. And sometimes if they have to go to a Google Meet, the link will be given there as well. So let me stop presenting again so you guys can see me again. Real quick, as far as the grading goes, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but there's 3 different sets of grades that we use at Yale School. The homework grade, which is 15% of the grade. Now, currently, while we're in this modified schedule, students are not required to do homework, so we're not assigning homework until everyone's back in school full time. But that normally would be 15% of the grade. The daily task completion is 15% of the grade. That's the different work they're doing while they're in the classroom or while they're in the Google Meet classroom on a daily basis. That's 15% of your grade. And the final grade would be what's called post-test. That would include things like tests, quizzes, projects, labs, etc. That would be 70% of your grade. And that would be kept, the information for the grades isn't kept on the Google Classroom, but on real time. I believe you have access to real time. If not, please, contact me or your child's homeroom teacher. So the actual grades, you can see the grades are actually kept on real time, not actually the Google Classroom. So that's a little brief summary of myself, the course, what the Google Classroom looks like, and the grading procedures. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me either by email or give me a call. It was great meeting you guys. It was great talking with you guys tonight. It's actually Wednesday night, so this is pre-recorded, but you guys will see this tomorrow night. Again, looking forward to hearing from you if you have any questions. And so far, it's been a great experience for me working with the students at Yale. I've found it very rewarding, and it's been a pleasure to work with the students so far at this point. But again, it was great to meet everybody. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know of any concerns or ideas or thoughts or questions that you have. So once again, it was great meeting everybody, and I hope to see you guys or talk to you guys soon.